I am going to start prepping for 6 chickens that we're supposed to get next week, and I have a lot of traveling for work to do next week, so I'm going to try to get my brooder box ready. I did order 6 chicks from a local farm. They're supposed to hatch April 2nd-ish. So I've decided that for this first attempt at having chickens, I'm just going to use this as a brooder box to start. So a couple of different things that I have to do to get this ready. First is I'm going to create a screen that will go over top once they get couple weeks old and can start to fly a little bit. So that will go on top as they get a little bit older, but I'm going to create it first. So I'm just basically going to make a frame and then put chicken wire so the heat lamp can sit on top. And then the other thing that I'm going to do is just cut a piece of wood that I can attach the lamp to when they come to us the first couple of days, because the heat will have to be a little bit closer as they're younger. So I'm just going to measure out what I need. I bought additional furring strips, so super easy, quick lid for this brooder box. So I'm going to do 24 by 36, and then chicken wire will get stapled to it. So 24 by 36, and then I have some additional furring strip pieces to cut for the top of my cabinets to finish up with that project. All right, go put these on the cabinets. All right, so I'm finally finishing my tops of my cabinets here. So I have 2 pieces to cut today. Now that the wind is not hurricane gale force winds, I'm gonna take this plywood back outside. All right, there's the first piece. Whoops. All right, here's my moment of truth on my corner piece. Oops. Ta-da! It really, really works. And I have a really, really fun addition to put up here as soon as I get the other one up. So, one more to add. Moving over here. Success. So, it's almost like I know what I'm doing. So all of them are done. Now I have to start adding some decorations. That's a little bear that I have from 100 years ago, and I just put some flowers up there. But now I have to go get a really good addition. Now, the most exciting addition to my above cabinets is my rooster. A couple weeks ago, we were at an auction for one of the schools that I work with, and they had super cool. They had a hen and a rooster. They were I think they were legit, like actually stuffed taxidermy of the chickens, and I bid on them. It said in the program that the value of them was $75. I bid them up to 100, and after 100, I kept getting outbid, so I gave up. I think they ended up going for $190. So I've been on the lookout for chickens ever since, and so Chris spotted this one at Lowe's, and when I met him for dinner today, he presented me with the chicken, or with the rooster. A couple weeks ago when I was in Ohio, I bought a really cool chicken sign that Aaron is now holding hostage because I couldn't take it on the airplane and he was supposed to drive out here in May and bring it to me. Now he tells me he's not coming out in May, so he's holding my chicken sign hostage, but it will join my rooster once it finally makes its way to Wyoming. So pretty cool. All right. Kind of happy that this bathtub is here because it can serve as a workbench for me to assemble this frame, very similar to what I did for the frame for the gate for the compost bin. So I'm going to build this little chicken coop, chicken brooder lid. There's my frame. Now I need to do the chicken wire. First I gotta go find my dog. Alright, in my humble opinion, the worst thing with working with chicken wire is getting that stupid initial wire that keeps them curled up, getting that unfurled. So just by a happy accident, my chicken wire is 36, and that's what my frame is. So I'm only going to have to cut this one time after I get that side secured, because my frame is the same width or length as the width of my chicken wire. And find a staple gun. Actually, I think I'm going to move to the floor just for better support. All right, so I thought I was recording as I was building this, but apparently I was not. However, this is exactly what I was hoping for. So this will cover just kind of off and on, super easy for cleaning. And again, the heat lamp will be able to sit on top of this once it can be a little further away from the chicks. But at first, they're going to need that heat lamp a little bit closer to them. So they will be small enough that they won't need this lid. So instead of the lid, I will have this, which then the heat lamp will connect onto, and I can raise and lower it. All right, so if you have been watching us since the fall, you will remember that we purchased 10 yards of topsoil and seeded this entire area. It was October, right? So it was the very tail end of the growing season. But as you can see by the stark brownness, we really only had a handful of areas that actually ended up germinating. A lot of them A lot of it washed away through our watering. We ended up going on a trip for a couple of weeks, and our timer system got messed up, so it did not turn out well. So what I've done, since this fence does not keep the dogs contained because Loki and Sky jump right all over it, and Rip will pretty much soon be able to walk over it, I've just reconfigured it so that when the dogs come out of the house, they don't come directly into this area. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to reseed this, and then I purchased some straw mulchy stuff to go over top of the seeds in the attempt to keep the birds from eating it this time. But yeah, so I'm going to work on getting this done on this beautiful late March 75-degree day. And hopefully I got kind of a mixture of seeds that I'm going to put together, some that is early or quick germinating, and some that is good. And I'm just going to mix it together and put it here. And fingers crossed, in a couple weeks, maybe we'll actually have some grass. All right, so here's the next step. This is called Easy Straw Seeding Mulch with Tack. It's supposed to help protect the seed from birds. Somewhere on here it says, oh yeah, protect grass seed from heavy washout in windy areas. I'm not going to hold my breath on that because I highly anticipate this will end up in Nebraska, but it was only $15, so it's worth a shot because when I laid the seed in the fall, lots of birds were visiting us. So I'm supposed to lay this and then water again. And I don't know, it says 7 to 10 days it will start to germinate or help our grass to germinate. Time will tell. Well, my GoPro died on me, but that's okay. I should have bought 2 packets of that straw. So the next time I go into town, I'm gonna have to get another one because I'd like to cover as much of the dirt as possible. I ended up hand watering this as opposed to using the sprinkler because my sprinkler was being stupid, but the hand water allowed me to make sure that I got every part of dirt that I roughed up this afternoon. So pretty pleased with how this turned out. Took about 2 hours. Well, no, started at about 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours, to rough up that topsoil from last fall. Spread the seed, and I spread I can't remember 2 different kinds, but one kind, both sets of directions said to spread it 3 passes of it, but I was able to get 2 passes with each kind, so a total of 4. You can kind of see, especially now that I've watered and there's little patches of green. This is my grass from last year that actually did come to to fruition a little bit, but it's all here because when I was watering last year, my sprinkler wasn't great, and so it washed everything down here, which is why all the grass is down here. So I think that until we start to see some grass start to germinate, I'm just going to hand water it with that little hand sprinkler. Just it gives me control and make sure that I don't have any runoff. So I might end up having to do it like in the morning before work, in the afternoon after work, and then maybe in the evening. Today the weather was pretty perfect for this, and I chose to do this today because it's supposed to be nice for the next couple of days with minimal winds. It is supposed to snow this weekend, which is actually not a problem. I was originally going to wait until maybe mid-April to try to start this germination, but because I follow a couple of Wyoming gardening pages and a bunch of people talking about planting grass seed, and even though it's still supposed to snow, it's actually supposed to snow here in a couple of days. That's actually not a bad thing. So I decided to go ahead and put it down today, give us a couple of weeks. And fingers crossed, I'm more optimistic now than I was in the fall that maybe we'll end up with some grass here. Ideally, I want to re-fence this part of the yard in, kind of where this fence is now, and then obviously along the driveway. I didn't bring the seed here too close to the edge, although the washout from last year is there, because if I end up putting a fence here, my vision is to line the fence with daylilies. This little portion of grass over here, which I've currently left mostly for the dogs to be able to use, this straw that I purchased actually has something very similar, but with the seed actually built in. So I think it'll cover about 250 square feet of yard. So I think once this gets established and I can remove this fence and the dogs can start to use the grassy spots, I will use some of that seed infused straw to do this section, and then up there in the corner by the fence. But again, pretty happy with how this turned out. Did not take me too long. And fingers crossed, we'll keep eyeballs on it. One of the problems with having that topsoil delivered in the fall and not having the seeds germinate is what it created all winter is just blowing topsoil. Right, what I learned is don't try to plant grass that late in the season, because some of the topsoil that you've paid for ends up all over your driveway, in your garage. I've been sweeping out dust and dirt all winter. So it's always going to be dusty here just because of the topography of the land, right? It's kind of deserty, right? So it's always going to be dusty. But the fact that this topsoil was right here and the wind comes from where the sun is setting now, it just blew this topsoil all over the patio, all through the garage. So the hope is it shouldn't look like this next winter, because hopefully there'll be grass there and we won't have this problem. We're gonna make a video in June of what we learned about living in Wyoming for a year, and this will be on that list. Well, as anticipated, half of my straw has blown to Nebraska. So I've been trying to keep it damp so that the straw is heavier, so that it does not all blow away. But fingers, not holding my breath. But if I could get grass to be growing here in about a week, I haven't been, knock on wood, noticing any birds, but time will tell. So now we're following Chris. We had, the conservation district is coming to plant trees at the end of April. And there are a couple of steps that we have to take to ready the ground. This is the first step. I have no idea what this tool is called, but he has something connected to the back of his tractor that is supposed to start the trench. Then we have two additional tools that we'll go through to ready the ground, and then we'll go back and put the drip line in for the dogs seem to think that we're going to China. Got to get them back. But I want to see what's going to happen here when Chris starts. So here's going to have, so there's a, I'll go get the dogs. All right, the dogs came back. Okay. There are 2 lines of flags going down this side of the property. And then the same, there are 3 on the other side of the property. So Chris is going to go with both pieces of equipment 2 times, about 15 feet apart. Well, see how it goes. Oh, wrong way. Low. Wow, that's actually doing the sky. Nice job. All right, I'm going to try to set this GoPro up. Keep an eyeball on him. See if it'll stand because it's getting windy. Take 2. As Chris has been playing on the tractor, creating these nice, whatever, trenches for our trees that will be delivered here the end of April, I have continued to battle with my sandburrs. Today I cleaned this whole area of sandburrs, went over it with that handy dandy little screen roller to pick up as many loose ones as I could. And put some seed down. Not super confident that anything will grow, but if my area over here manages to germinate and actually grow some grass, I will probably get another couple of yards, well, probably like 10 yards of topsoil to do the frontier. I am not going to go the whole way to the road, but probably what you see here is a little bit darker because I seeded that and then watered it. My other project I was working on today is we got a couple of railroad ties. I'm going to make a flower bed here. We got the first one laid. It's actually pretty level. I dug a trench for it. We have to cut the other one to block off that other side. And then I'm going to get some fill dirt, some peat moss, some good in the ground soil, and make this a flower bed. We currently have 0 bushes, 0 flowers, so this will add a little bit of curb appeal. The other row of trees, this will only be two rows on that side, and then we're probably going to get a shade tree, maybe 1 or 2 evergreens just to plant here closer to the house that are a little more decorative, as opposed to what those are going to be, which are minute, but also those are creating a windbreak. right, so this is after 2 passes. Well, I don't know how many passes, 2 different tools. He's hooking up the tractor now to the last one. Dirt actually looks really, really nice. I'm used to Western Pennsylvania. That was all clay. This looks really nice. Very little rock. So these are the 3 passes on this side. And he did 2 passes on the other. So this one has a row of bushes and 2 rows of trees. The other side just has 2 rows of trees. Here's the other side. Again, super nice looking soil. This has 2 rows, and luckily enough, my compost bin is right in the middle. We thought we were going to have to move that to prep the ground for the trees. We are eventually going to move it down to the end, but I'm not going to have to do that imminently because these trees are going to be like sticks, so they're not going to be super big. It'll give us time to really figure out where we want to relocate. And again, I think it's just going to be on the same side. I like it here on the back side of the house. Yeah, so it's coming soon. I got the doghouse all finished up. Rip's checking it out. Do you approve? Huh? It'll keep you dry. Keep the wind off ya. There's room for Teddy. You want to go in, Ted? Last thing I gotta do is just touch up where I got white red paint there. Gotta paint that white. Then it'll be totally done. Painted the roof. Painted trim. Replaced all the trim that was eaten. Looks brand spanking new. Did you like it? Do you like it, Rip? Go ahead, Ted. You want to try it?